ring. I feel like it'll be a little entertaining. I don't know how long he gonna last in with these big shots coming at him, but hey, we only time will tell. You know, I'm not here to hype that. Not even my business. That's somebody else fish to fry.
Yeah.
You know, I got my own fish to fry.
Terence Crawford is not going to do anything to Canelo Alvarez. Terence Crawford, yes, he's good. He's a 4-division world champion, 2-division undisputed, but he couldn't even hurt Majimov.
Is that they think that Canelo is easy work because of the fact that he's flat-footed and he just kind of like, he does basic, I would say. He has basic skills, but he's really good at those basic fundamental skills.
Charlo shares his perspective on why he sees Canelo defeating Terence Crawford. In his view, the deciding factor will be how long Crawford can handle the power punches Canelo is certain to deliver. He stresses that Crawford is already stepping up in weight divisions just to meet Canelo, which adds to the difficulty. For Charlo, the fight hinges on Crawford's ability to survive the relentless pressure and strength Canelo brings over 12 rounds. Experts also highlight that Crawford struggled to make a real impact on Majimov, a fighter far below Canelo's caliber. While Crawford looked dominant against Errol Spence, this test is on another level. Canelo, younger, more active in recent years, and considered a legend of the sport, presents a far more dangerous challenge for Bud.
10-0. They never got in the ring with anything like a Terence Crawford. They never got in the ring with a former champion, with an elite fighter. And he couldn't hurt. He couldn't hurt Majimov. Canelo Alvarez is no Earl Spence, ladies and gentlemen. I know that some of y'all are hyped because what Terence Crawford did an incredible performance and an incredible job versus Earl the True Spence that was supposed to be the big fish, and he turned the big fish into tuna fish on your outline, on your local supermarket. But Canelo Alvarez is not Earl Spence, my brothers. Canelo Alvarez is not Amir Khan. Canelo Alvarez is not Kell Brook. Canelo Alvarez is not Gamboa. Canelo Alvarez is not Felix Diaz. Canelo Alvarez is not Sean Porter. Canelo Alvarez is none of those guys, ladies and gentlemen. Canelo Alvarez is none of those guys. Canelo Alvarez is not the Mean Machine. Canelo Alvarez is Canelo Alvarez, regarded as one of the greats. And not just the Mexican greats. I don't like how y'all try to put it. Oh no, he's the best Mexican, just because you don't want to say that he's one of the greatest that ever laced him up. Canelo Alvarez is one of the greatest that ever laced him up. Has carried the sport of boxing on his shoulder. And let me say it like this: leading up to the fight, Canelo Alvarez is more active than Terence Crawford. Canelo Alvarez is more seasoned than Canelo Alvarez is more seasoned than Terence Crawford. He's younger than Terence Crawford. He's more active than Terence Crawford. His resume is better than Terence Crawford. The people that he's fought is better than Terence Crawford. He's fought every damn style. He's fought the best Russians at the time with Kovalev. He fought the best Asian in Kazakhstan and Triple G.
Brooks shares his view that he would pick Canelo Alvarez over Terence Crawford, pointing out that Canelo is on a completely different level than anyone Crawford has previously faced. He notes that although Crawford win against Errol Spence was impressive, it doesn't truly prepare him for the unique challenges Canelo presents. With his proven power, vast experience, and dominance in higher weight divisions, Canelo stands apart from fighters like Spence. According to Brook, Crawford has yet to meet an opponent who combines Canelo's strength, skill set, and ring IQ, making this clash one of the toughest tests of Crawford's entire career.
You've got to sway towards Canelo. Crawford's going to have to move up, and I knew when I boxed Golovkin, there's a big difference, especially with someone that, fighting a middleweight, a mediocre world champion's okay, but when you're fighting someone like, Canelo or Golovkin, it's a different kettle of fish, I have to lean towards Canelo, but, Crawford's very, very, very good.
Do you think Crawford's still got the legs? Obviously, he's very much got great IQ in the ring, but he's very much a good mover as well. Do you feel like he's still got the legs to be maybe out-moving Canelo if he needs to?
Well, I don't know. I think when we look back at Mayweather when he beat Canelo, he's a mover. Crawford's not really like Mayweather in that aspect. He's more, he kind of sets his feet and he's just. He's cute with how he approaches chucking shots and moving, I think I think it's a different fight to Mayweather, and Canelo's obviously a different fighter from when he boxed Mayweather.
Analysts emphasize that Terence Crawford might simply lack the size to truly trouble Canelo Alvarez, as he is moving up nearly 3 divisions with very little experience at 154. They draw a contrast with Floyd Mayweather, who had already faced several elite opponents before meeting Canelo, whereas Crawford's only notable bout at that range was against Madrimov. Gabe Rosotto further explains that fighters accustomed to taking punches from naturally big opponents often find shots from smaller weight classes less impactful. This raises real doubts about whether Crawford can withstand the physical strength and power Canelo will bring into the ring.
I think that Crawford may be too small to really impact and hurt Canelo Alvarez. He's moving up pretty much 3 weight classes, which is exactly what I said. I'm not counting 154. He had 1 fight, bro. He had 1 fight. Floyd Mayweather got more fights at 54 than Terence Crawford. Boop. Because Crawford, he fought Madrimov. Floyd fought De La Hoya, Cotto, and then he fought Canelo at 152. So you had an aging Floyd who fought more times at the higher weight class, and Bud looks to be a bigger dude than Floyd Mayweather, right? So when Floyd was 37, he moved to 52 and fought a much bigger Canelo. Crawford's 37. He fighting Madrimov with 11 fights. Not the same. It's not. I don't care what y'all talking about. The Bud Buddy's just gonna have to be mad at me because truth is truth. So that's a valid question. And again, I'll be glad when this fight's over. Put it that way. I don't care who wins. May the best man win. I hope it's a double knockout. I already told y'all. Just because I'm just over it and I want to get back to some of the other fights. There's other fights that are interesting and they make more sense, like Brian Norman, Devin Haney. I'm interested in Yard versus Benavidez, etc. There's some fights we're hearing about, blah blah blah. So I'll be glad when this is over, to be 100% honest. There's more fights that actually fans have been requesting that matter, blah blah blah. But Rosado, he brought up a lot of good points. He was saying Crawford, he thinks he's too small, and he even gave his own personal experience. He said, I'm 180, 190 solid, and when I fight guys that are welterweights, even if they crack and they're known for being menacing, murderous punchers at the lower weight classes, 140, 147, them moving up, it feel like pillows when they fight me. When I get hit with their punches, it feel like pillows because I'm used to getting hit by triple. Right? He used to Triple G work. He used to Lemieux work. So to me, this is kind of common sense, but common sense ain't that common, right?
Experts continue to underline one of the biggest questions and potential clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Can Crawford endure Canelo's power? The Mexican star has built a reputation for breaking down opponents with heavy shots that either slow them or force a stoppage. While some critics argue that Canelo appears flat-footed and easier to approach, analysts insist this is misleading. His approach is calculated, relying on balance, timing, and precise fundamentals, which allow him to maximize force behind every punch. For Crawford, that presents the ultimate challenge. His slick defense and constant movement might let him avoid damage for long stretches, but Canelo's patience almost always creates opportunities. And when those openings come, the real question becomes whether Crawford can remain composed under pressure and absorb the punishment. Many believe the outcome won't simply be about who lands more punches, but whether Crawford's chin and body can withstand Canelo's relentless power.
Is Crawford gonna be able to take Canelo's punches? And is Canelo gonna be skilled enough to not keep on getting banged up by Crawford and his craftiness? It's the battle of two greats, you know what I mean? So I believe that Canelo, you really see him, when you see him fight, he almost got a one-way of style, and it works for him. He likes to get in there and bang you up. He likes to throw hard punches. He likes to break you down. He likes to hit you everywhere. You're gonna hit in your body, your arms, the forehead, the ear, the neck. Wherever he can land a good one, he's gonna land it, and that usually breaks them down. So with some fighters, I see is that they think that Canelo is easy work because of the fact that he's flat-footed and he just kind of like, he does basic, I would say. He has basic skills, but he's really good at those basic fundamental skills. He does everything almost like perfect. But yeah, he's flat-footed, but you got to realize that he also has hell of a head movement and body movement. He understands and he's perfected at rolling with the punch thing.
The night Terence Crawford dismantled Errol Spence is often remembered as one of the most dominant displays in modern boxing. Crawford put his entire arsenal on show: speed, precision, timing, defense, and ruthless finishing ability. He systematically broke down a fighter who had been regarded as one of the elite welterweights in the sport, and he did it with ease. For many observers, that performance cemented Crawford's legacy as one of the greats of this generation. Now, those closest to him claim he looks even sharper than he did during that historic night. Training partners report that his speed hasn't faded, his reflexes remain razor sharp, and his conditioning is at its absolute peak. Even with age creeping in, Crawford seems to have polished his style and elevated his focus to another level. According to those inside his camp, this might be the best version of Bud we've ever seen, and that confidence had proved vital when facing a dangerous opponent like Canelo Alvarez.
Sharper than ever, more dangerous than ever, and most importantly, he looks like the greatest version of himself. Now, can we actually believe this? Can Terence Crawford at nearly 39 years old, with him being inactive, with him being heavier than ever, is it possible that the man will actually look better than ever? Now, let's think about it, ladies and gentlemen. When you're talking about someone like Terence Crawford or Canelo Alvarez, you're talking about the elite of the elite. And if I'm gonna be honest, Terence Crawford, when he fought Errol Spence, in my opinion, in all my years of watching combat sports, I'm a MMA guy turned into boxing. But I have never, ever in my life watched an elite championship fight and had my jaw absolutely drop to the floor with the greatness that I witnessed. And that is the only way to describe what Terence Crawford did versus Errol Spence. In my opinion, that was the greatest performance in our lifetime. I mean, I can't go back to the old days, I'm not a historian, but as far as I'm concerned, that was the greatest performance I have ever seen in my life. And especially to who he did it to, Errol Spence, dangerous southpaw at the time. I believe he was pound for pound number 3. And Terence Crawford absolutely annihilated him.
Former middleweight champion Kelly Pavlik shared his thoughts on the blueprint Crawford might need to beat Canelo. His focus is on the opening rounds of the fight. Pavlik believes Crawford cannot allow Canelo to dictate the pace early. Instead, he must rely on sharp footwork, clever combinations, and high ring IQ to force Canelo into a faster rhythm than he prefers. The plan is straightforward: make Canelo work. If Crawford can push him to throw more punches, stay mobile, and chase the action, he could drain the Mexican star's gas tank. History has shown that Canelo sometimes slows down in the championship rounds of grueling fights, and Pavlik feels that's where Crawford's chance emerges. By applying smart pressure from the start, Crawford could reduce Canelo's explosive power late on, giving himself the possibility to win on point, or even score a late stoppage.
Stay in Canelo's ass a little early on, put Canelo behind, right? Even if it's 3 out of the first 4 rounds, because when Canelo has to fight, okay, when Canelo has to step it up, after 7 rounds, he starts to fade a little bit. We've seen that with Bivol. We've seen it in a lot of his fights with Triple G. You know, when Canelo could control the fight and the ring generalship, like, yeah, he could fight 12 rounds pretty good. But when Canelo gets pushed early on in the fight, he starts to fade muscle endurance wise. So if I was Crawford, I would kind of stay in his ass a little bit on the early rounds and make him have to play catch up in the rounds 3, 4, 5, and then by round 7, that's where he could really step it up.
Dan Raphael pointed out a key detail when evaluating the experience gap between the two fighters. He noted that Canelo has already faced and absorbed punches from opponents who moved up from lighter weight classes. Names like Floyd Mayweather, Amir Khan, and Miguel Cotto stand out, all naturally smaller men who tested themselves against him. Not only did Canelo share the ring with them, but he also adjusted to their speed and timing, showing he could handle what smaller fighters brought to the table. On the other hand, Terence Crawford has yet to face a naturally bigger opponent who carries the kind of size and strength Canelo possesses. While Crawford has dominated across several divisions, stepping in against someone who feels completely comfortable at higher weights is a very different kind of challenge. Raphael's analysis highlights how Canelo's breadth of experience against all types of fighters could be a decisive advantage over Crawford, who has not been tested against that level of power and physicality.
Dan Raphael kind of made a great point when talking about sizes, because he said if you look at them two together now, they look the same size. He said people have got the idea of the size thing wrong. It's not looking at them as a physical package, it's who has absorbed the bigger shots in the weight division. So and it was good. It was a very good point. It was like Canelo has been hit by light heavyweights and super middleweights for the best part of a decade.
Basically,
he's so used to taking those shots, whereas Crawford hasn't. Crawford's been hit by 140 guys and 147 guys for the best part of a decade.
Yeah.
What's Crawford going to be like? So basically, you're trying to say Canelo could easily absorb Crawford shots. Can Crawford easily absorb Canelo's punches?
if you're taking shots from Triple G, Sergey Kovalev, Dmitry Bivol, and you're staying on your feet, not getting hurt,
Not even getting wobbled,
just literally shaking it off.
Yeah.
You can take Terence Crawford shots.
100%.
Antonio offered a more positive outlook on Crawford's chances, emphasizing his mental preparation. He explained that Crawford is known for visualizing his fights well before entering the ring, which allows him to anticipate challenges and mentally map out responses. In Antonio's view, Crawford's greatest asset is his adaptability and intelligence. Rather than relying solely on physical advantages, Crawford has built his success on reading opponents, making adjustments, and gradually imposing his own rhythm. According to Antonio, this matchup isn't just about size or weight classes, it's about skill. He believes that if Crawford executes his strategy with precision, his versatility and high boxing IQ could help him offset Canelo's physical edge and create real opportunities to turn the fight in his favor.
Terence gotta be Terence, bro. He's a real deep thinker. He processed fights like nobody else. And he's processed this Canelo fight. He's seen it. He went through it 2 or 3 times already. He knows how this ends. You can tell the way he shadow boxes. He visualizing Canelo being right there in front of him. You understand? Look at the movement. That's all you gotta do, look at the movement. And that's the type of master boxer that Canelo is gonna be facing. And the only thing I say is Canelo hasn't faced an opponent like this in a long time. You know what I mean? I think Canelo's gonna have to go back to the Caleb Plant fight and look that good, that active, that, you feel me, moving with that type of grace to beat Terence Crawford. Because weight ain't gonna make the difference. It ain't gonna be the weight. It's gonna be the skill set.
That's all for today's video. Make sure to stay tuned for more updates.